Num num. Birdie num num.
When I have understanding of computers, I shall be the supreme being. God isn't interested in technology. He knows nothing of the potential of the microchip or the silicon revolution. Look how he spends his time. 43 species of parrots. Nipples for men.
Don't do that, Jesus Christ! You're gonna get me killed! Out of here!
Oh, Billy.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
Welcome, everybody, to AB Live. Welcome to Aeon, Byte, to the desert of the real. Welcome to a world where we wonder why men have nipples, and a world where women cannot show their nipples. This is the crazy world of, as our guest calls him, the Golem God. And yes, he is something illogical and mechanistic, but so happy to see you here. My name is Miguel Connor, and I am still your Pompatus of Gnosis, that madman across the waters of creation. Awesome to see everybody going into the chat room. Good to see everybody. I see Occult Fan, Esoteric Teachings. I see some guy named Vance Sachi. We might have to ban him, Vance. Watch out for him. He's a troublemaker.
Yeah, he scrolls the chat, you know.
Yeah, he's going to start asking questions about enchilada recipes or something. So you never know with this guy. We see Chester, Mark Jefferson. Good people, very intelligent, wise and deep people. So it will be a good conversation today as we do the third part in our series with the amazing David Block, my favorite or the greatest occultist in Sweden since Swedenborg. David, how are you?
It's nice to be back. Thank you for having me, and your audience, wonderful audience, are amazing. Good questions, and I will try to answer some of them here today. I saw them in the comments of the YouTube video.
Yeah. Yeah, always an eye on it. Awesome. Yeah. I don't even know what to call your series. When I do promos, I say the enigmatic gods or mercurial gods. Have you thought of what to call this 4-part series?
For the third, this one is Specks of Stardust.
Yeah.
And the last one is Genes, Monsters, and Men.
But what about like the 4 series?
Yeah, all of them together. Good question.
Oh, well, I'm
We
sure
have
a
to
good
figure
name.
that out.
Yeah, that's why I just call it enigmatic gods or mysterious gods or something like that.
How about our gang?
Our
gang of 4.
Sparky and our gang.
And Vance, how are you doing?
I'm fine. This should be interesting. Always interested in these things.
Indeed.
These
Always
underworld creatures.
Yes, in the shadows at the edge of town. That's where we find the Gnosis. Sometimes we find Lovecraftian monsters, which doesn't end well, but we can find Gnosis too. So.
The wrong side of the tracks, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So awesome. Well, for those in the chat, of course, as always, we will try to get your questions. If you super chat them, we will definitely get to your questions. So send them along, and we will book some time to deal with these, with your inquiries and so forth. Not much housekeeping. Next week, we've got very cool content. A lot on a special show on UFOs, a double header. That will be sort of a hybrid audio and live with subs getting some extra stuff on audio, and it will be very cool. A very exciting new documentary coming out from a very cool filmmaker. We'll have a show on consciousness and the simulation with the amazing Eduardo Cano, who's also an incredible independent researcher. And then a show on Hellenistic goddesses. And May is going to be supercharged. Definitely don't miss it. We will have shows on the origins of Christianity, the left-hand path of Nietzsche, Luciferianism, and a lot more. So thanks for your support and keeping this heresy going. Other than that, I don't think I have any other news unless I can think of. So, David, shall we just jump into the presentation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part 3 then.
All right. Well, let's
Belial, Specks of Stardust.
Nice graphics too.
Thank you a lot, Miguel. I try to make it a little bit graphic and appealing to the audience as well. Try to. Yeah, this is part 3, Belial, Specks of Stardust. And we are going to talk and focus about Belial on this part. But I will address a lot of different things here. But I will come back to Belial. Bear with me a little bit with this one. I'm going to take you for a little on journeys here, so just stick with me. I promise to come back to the subject here, and everything is relevant. Right. The graphic is a little bit off here. I don't know why. Maybe mine is a little bit.
Well, let me try. Let me see. I have it uploaded. So let's see. Maybe the up. All right.
Yeah, there. Very good.
Okay, so we'll use mine, David.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Sorry about this.
You should be able to change the slides yourself too, right? So you don't need me.
Great. I try. Right. No, I can't.
All right, just tell me when to change the slides. Yeah. No big deal. Always prepared with a backup plan.
Yeah, great. Yeah, this is part 3. The part 3 and 4 are linked together, so please, some of the information here will spill over to part 4. So watch them together when part 4 comes, and remember that there are stuff I talk about here that will have its conclusion in part 4. I will remind you of it later on. Part 1 and 2 are important if you want to have the full picture of what I'm trying to say with this series. I want to make some statements before I start the presentation. And I start with this one. They, the elite, have the same kind of technology we had during the time of Atlantis. The Watchers want to ignite your spark to free you. The demiurgic elite want to enslave you by modifying your DNA. The war is about your DNA, lux corporalis, or light. And I'm going to talk about some conspiracies here, but I want you to know that be careful with conspiracy. Don't get caught up in it, because the conspiracy in and of themselves will not free you or transform you. And if you only indulge in conspiracies, then the game can be a little bit dangerous. I do it in order to make my esoteric point more clear or clearer for you, and to motivate you. The aim is to transform you and strengthen you, not the other way around. The information can be quite hard to take in, but I promise you, stick with me and I will show you, because there are good things about it. Don't be passive but active, both when we talk about esoteric method theory, and you can indulge in conspiracy, but don't get caught up in it. I will start to answer some of your questions I saw in the comment field. And there were many very good questions. And I want to say thank you for everyone who have contributed. And it's very strange and a lot of synchronicities here. And I want to talk about it a little bit. Yeah, we can take the next slide.
Next slide, all right.
You jumped over one.
Oh, you're right. There you go.
A statement from Belial. You are magnificent specks of dust scattered throughout the darkness. each speck shines like a star, and you are a sun or a star in the making, sort of. And we are here to ignite and to transform. That's our purpose here. That's the reason why we are here. So when people say that life is meaningless, I would say life is only about meaning and nothing else. Yeah, next slide. And a very good quote. I don't remember the one who made it, but it's very good, I think. And it sums up a lot of what we are talking about here. We can accept God becoming man to save man, but not man becoming God to save himself. And I think this is, for the most part, a mental prison. If you can convince you that you are an animal, or if you are here to wait for someone to save you, then you will be passive, and that's exactly what they want. I want you to do exactly the opposite. I want you to be active. And I know that you can transcend this matrix prison. They can make it harder for you to do so, but they cannot stop you. And the best way to stop you is to convince you never to start, or to say that you are just an animal, or that you are a sinner, and so on. That's a very good method to keep you down. If you believe it, they don't have to do anything more than that, really. Now you start waking up because you have realized this game. So now it's harder for them to put you down. That's the reason why all the technology you see all around you put in place for you to entrap you. And they know you're awakening. They know this, you have this spark. I'm going to talk about it today. So I'm going to come into conspiracy, but don't get caught up in it. But I want to prove my esoteric points here with these conspiracy theories. Yeah. Not the other way around. I don't want you to get caught up in it.
No, I agree with you. Conspiracies are a narration, like myth, occultism, our daily lives. You get caught up in any story and you forget who you are and the bigger picture. You get lost in the story, you lose yourself.
Yeah. And it's very dangerous. If you ain't a spiritual person, then it can be very dangerous. But since you are here, I think you are an esoteric or a spiritual person. So I think you can take it and understand what I tried to say with it.
Yeah. And it's a great quote. Speaking of assistant archons, I wonder if Vance uses Bard and I use Chat GPT, we can find the source. We'll get to it. Yeah, exactly. Rumi. Yeah, just give it to Rumi or Martin Luther King or Jung or whatever favorite people you just want to throw a quote on the internet.
There you go.
Put it in a meme. All right. Shall we go to the next slide, David?
Yeah, I want to answer some questions.
Sure.
And comment on them, I hope.
Sure, do it. Your call.
Yeah. Some person talked about Enlil and Zeus, and he thought they were the same archon. But I understand why you think that. I'm not saying that I know that I'm right, but allow me to tell my story, my point of view here. You have this war going on between Marduk and Enlil, and the Mardukites build a tower in Babylon, the Tower of Babel. But it was Enlil who destroyed the tower through his son Ninurta, and Ninurta is Saturn. It was Ninurta who destroyed it with the thunderbolt. And it was the Mardukites who built this tower. And Marduk and Zeus are both thunder gods. Now Enlil is the storm god. So there is a connection. And there is also a connection with Jupiter, because the war between Enlil and Marduk is over the Jupiter domain, or the Jupiter force. Who controls Jupiter? And Jupiter is electricity, it's a storm, sun or planet. Depends on how you view it, but it is a gas planet. And from an esoteric standpoint, I would say it is a sun. Maybe a little bit controversial, but I would state Jupiter is a sun. And I think all our gas giants in our solar system is a stargate as well. So it's about control over a stargate and also energy and force and control over humanity in a sense. Therefore, I understand why you think that Enlil and Marduk, Zeus is very complicated. But I would say that Zeus is Marduk, and that in the Greek mythology, they have combined Zeus, Enlil, and Marduk a little bit and created maybe Zeus. And in a way, I think they have combined these gods, Anunnaki gods, in a way later on. They have become almost synonymous with each other. This is very hard to. But Marduk is Enki's son, and Marduk want to create these stargates through these towers or pyramids or ziggurats. And Zachariah Sitchin wrote in the Pyramid Wars how Ninurta, Enlil's son, destroyed the pyramids, and that Marduk, Zeus, Amun-Ra, want these pyramid structures there to have the stargates open. Next slide.
Hold on. It looks like Vance found the quote that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Vernon Linwood Howard. Whoever's that.
He's the guy that said we can accept God becoming man to save man.
Yeah, but
He's that guy.
well, now you know. All right, let me get the quote out of the way. Where's the quote? All right, we'll get.
Yeah, and you had this person. He talked about the DMT trip. Very interesting. And the 50 names he mentioned is Marduk's 50 name he got when he defeated Tiamat and Kingu. Then Marduk got his 50 names. And he said that he saw Jehovah over the pyramids. But this is a very hard topic to discuss because according to the Mardukites, the Enlilites took over the reign from Marduk. Therefore, it is probably Enlil who have taken over the stargates and keep them closed. That's what I think you saw. But it is Marduk who owned the 50 names. But if Enlil defeats Marduk, then he takes over the title and the names and the stargates in order to keep them closed.
Makes sense.
Maybe they're like passwords.
Very interesting. Yeah, next slide. And to prove my point a little further, we have a Mithra tarot. And they have changed the position of the cards in order to fit the Mithra esoteric paradigm. And then we can see if you take 777 or 770 and 700, you see sacrifice, the 7 card, or the number 7 is the 6 card, the Hierophant in this case, but the number 7 is attached to the card number 6. And it's the Hierophant in this case. You see Flammen, the name is Flammen, but the meaning is sacrifice. And if you take the 70 card, you have the sun, Victor Unus, and the meaning is the sun of course. And the number 700 is attached to the tower, Ruina, and the meaning is Zeus. So you have sacrifice, sun, Zeus. And this is very interesting, because when we come to the sun, we always come to the phenomena of sacrifice, for some reason. And here you have 777, which is a very esoteric number, of course, because 0 is 0. So you really have 777. And I'm going to talk about this more in the next part. But I want to mention this because we talked about the tower, Zeus, Enlil, and Marduk. Next slide. So you have this tower and the 50 names and Jupiter. And I think this is very important. I think all these gas giants in our solar system is Stargates, and is connected to a fixed star as well. And I think the Stargates are closed. And some say, I have a friend talking about Jupiter and reincarnation, that Jupiter is about our reincarnation circle back again as well. I don't know, but I will continue to look into it, because then if Enlil have taken over and closed the Stargates, then you have the matrix demiurgic prison where we reincarnate back again, and it becomes hard for us to ascend or escape this matrix prison. And I think that's part of the war they are raging about our souls. Next slide. You have this Saturn, our sun, Helios, and Jupiter, according to me, 3 stargates connected to one of these 15 fixed stars. There are more fixed stars, but these are the main fixed stars we used to talk about in esoteric practices. And I think I'm going to talk about which of these planets are connected to what fixed star, but I want to wait a little bit, and I want to do a little more research on it. But I have a theory about it. But I think these 3 gas giants are connected to one or more fixed stars. And the fixed star is outside of the zodiac. Therefore, you escape this matrix if you go into one of the stargates. Next slide. And one more point I want to talk about, and it was a very good answer or comment as well, and it was about Fenrir and the force behind it. It's very dark, this person said, and yes, there are forces out there you don't want to mess with. And it sounds strange, I'm talking about the Watchers, and for many, they are the main villains, but there are much, much more darker forces out there, so you shouldn't mess with. The jinns are one of those. The jinns aren't there to help you, but we use them in attack magic or baneful magic to hurt others. I will never do it because I think it's a dead end. And Fenrir is certainly not a good force. It's an evil force. But the thing here, what Belial said and did, is like when this technology, our technology, gets more and more advanced, we can open up the material world and allow these forces to come in and wreak havoc. And I think Fenrir is not like a wolf, it's like more a metaphysical force, dark entity who blotted out our sun because it was so dark. But they open up this possibility with technology. So it's technology. We're talking about Atlantis and the technology they had there. And I claim it was very advanced. They can open up gates, stargates, and so on, and let these forces loose on our planet. And I think what Belial is saying, that rather than humanity end up in a slave state under Zeus or Enlil, he rather destroy it and to take down humanity into the darkness in order to save the spark or allow us to find our way out of this prison rather than keep us there forever or for a very long time. That's what I think happened. Your ascent requires destruction, for you and your kind are the great destroyers. And we humans, we like to view ourselves, of course, as nice fellows, but if we are honest with ourselves, we bombard ourselves, our own race, we wage war, we are very fast to take destructive actions. And I think that what the watch is saying here is we are also transforming and evolving through this struggle to new heights. We need this. We don't need war, but we need struggle. We need something to bang our heads against in order to evolve. If you have too good, if you have it very nice home and everything is okay, then nothing happens really. We are standing still. And it's better to have these forces to push us forward than to stand still, because the watcher's only interest is to awaken us. Awaken or die. It's like their message. And you will come back, but you have to awaken. And it's through struggle you will awaken, transform. You need something to push you forward. Next slide. So the greatest weapon you have is your DNA. And everything, not everything, but the most important things happening today is about your DNA. I'm going to talk about quite heavy stuff here today, and in part 4 even more so. But I promise you it's a good thing in the end. Because there are a certain elite who want to modify your DNA with technology right now. Next slide.
I don't know about that, David. I'm sure our government and scientists only want the best for us. I'm sure they just, as they always have throughout history.
Yeah, no self-interest there.
No agenda.
Yeah, Belial states, by harnessing the sound of silence or the sound of the Hebrew alphabet, which are associated with each path upon the tree of knowledge, the first 22 strands of encoded information can be activated within the race of man. This is to take back the book of life from the false god. And in the center of this tree, you have a cliffa or sephirot called, the sephirot is called Tiferet. And the cliffa on the other side is called Thagirion. And Thagirion is the black sun. And Tiferet is the sun, the bright sun. And it is in the center of it all. It is the heart of the tree. It is the black star behind Tiferet. And what Belial states here is you have to dare to go into the backside of the tree, into the cliphotic tree of knowledge, in order to ignite your DNA again. And I said in previous episode Prometheus that Lucifer saved the spark within man and planted in Nama and saved it in Noah's Ark, through Noah's Ark, in order for you to be able to ignite it again later on. And Prometheus, Lucifer knew that Enki wanted to save his upgraded race, the Nephilim.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the Nephilim DNA within you in various mixture, of course, but you have it. So when you say that the Nephilim is evil, you're talking about yourself. I don't know if that...
Right.
This is very good, but that's what it is. You have Kingus blood within you, or Belial's blood within you. It is because you can ignite this DNA. They cannot take it away. They can take it away from you if you allow them to do so. Next slide. So you have these 22 Hebrew letters and these 22 strands of DNA. And one method, esoteric method, how to ignite your DNA again is to walk the path on the cliphotic tree and transform you. And this is very important. The tunnels are as important as the cliffa themselves. It is through the tunnels you harness these forces and make them stick, or to have them anchored within you. So the tunnels are as important as the cliffa. You cannot only work with the cliffas. You should work with the tunnels as well, and the Hebrew letters. And this Hebrew letters is the stuff they program the matrix with. It's like ones and zeros in a computer game or a computer program. This is the letters they have programmed our reality with. They are very important. Some think that the Hebrew letters come from our runes here in Sweden, or the Nordic runes. And I'm sure that the runes doesn't originate here in the north, but there is a very interesting history here in Sweden about Johannes Bureus. And he was a teacher to our king, Gustav II, and his daughter, Christina. They had tried to keep him a secret, but he's the main teacher behind this very important king and queen. And he was writing a book about this, where he tried to combine the runes with the Hebrew letters. Very interesting. Johannes Bureus is his name. Next slide. So you can take the 22 cards from the Major Arcana and put it on the tree of life, or the cliphotic tree, and you have this card spread all over the tunnels. And you can work with this 22 cards as well, meditate on them, but choose a tarot card with the Hebrew letters on them. Like Aleister Crowley's card is very good, the Thoth tarot card. Then you have a Hebrew letter attached to every card as well. And you can meditate on the Hebrew letters, and you can write them as sigils or mandalas, and you can have result only from the Hebrew letters. And you can combine them, and you can combine different cards, and this is a very interesting method if you understand how to use them. And it's a good start as well if you want to have an esoteric method to start with. The 22 cards in the Major Arcana is it's a good soft start if you want to have an easy start or a starting point that it ain't that harsh. If you don't want to start to work with the Qliphothic tree, then I recommend the 22 cards from the Major Arcana, but the Hebrew letters should be attached to the card as well. Yeah, next slide. So in the center of it all, we have Tiferet, and Tiferet is the sun. And we can see 3 cards from 3 cards on the tunnels. One is from Yesod, for example, goes to Tiferet, and it's art. Another one is the devil, and the other one is death. You have more card going to Tiferet because it's the center of it all. But let's focus on these 3 cards. If we add them together, we got the number 42. And 42 is a very important number. It's a solar number. And this Tiferet is very, very important for many reasons. And you have David Bowie singing about this black star.
All right. And
then we are on the other side of Tiferet, the black sun, black star. And we are going to a series. And you have this lady on card number 14 mixing this masculine and feminine forces, energies together. And you have the Baphomet taking form here, because it's really about it's a little bit more advanced than that. But you have this wonderful rainbow behind this green lady. And it says, visit the interior of the earth, and by rectifying it, you will find the philosopher's stone. And this is the path you don't have to, but this is one path you can take, and you will confront the black sun. But when you do it, you should be very, very careful, because if you want to gain or ignite your DNA, you can make sure some forces are there to take the force energy from you as well. Because when you start to transform, more energy will produce in your body, you will have more light within you. And different spirits, strange creatures start to turn up to take the force away from you, or the energy that you have produced. And children, of course, have a very pure energy. They are very light. And this free card also, you have death. It's about your death. And it's about your resurrection. And it's your overcoming the devil. Because when you do this, you will also gain powers, and you will start to see things others don't. And you have to overcome your ego in order for you not to fall or become a person who start to manipulate others in order to gain your own power, knowledge, and money, and knowledge for the sake of controlling others. You have to overcome the devil and the materiality of things. And then you have the tower after the devil, and this is very important as well. Yeah, next slide. And the sun card, of course, is about Tiferet, but we can see here 2 children are dancing around, and of course this is very bright. When the sun comes, when the spring comes, everyone is happy, everyone's dancing, and it's a very beautiful card. But the card's number is 19, of course, because you have this So the sun's corona, and you have the number 19 as in a pandemic they are trying to force or hoist on humanity right now. And there is an agenda here, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. Next slide. And on the other side, we have the black sun, Thagirion. And our sun, Helios, number is 111. But the black sun, its number is 666. And this 666 will start to pile up. You will see it all over this pandemic thing. And there's a reason for it. I'm going to prove it to you. David Bowie are writing in this beautiful song. Maybe you have seen the video. I'm a black star, I'm a black star. At the center of it all, your eyes, your eyes. And in this music video, you have skulls, you have a book with a black star, you have people shaking as if they were like in hell or Tartarus. They seem to be dead. Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen it, do it, because it's very esoteric.
Right.
And David Bowie was very interested in esoteric matters. Therefore, I know he knows what he's talking about. I'm going to make it very clear, I hope, what he's talking about here. Yeah, next slide. All right, I will go back to The Shining, and I know I've talked a lot about The Shining on your channel, Miguel, but I want to hammer home a couple of points here.
Sure.
I hope you will like it. In the movie The Shining, you have one scene where you can clearly see the Red Book by Jung, Carl Gustav Jung. When I saw it, I was started thinking about the room 237. Therefore, I wanted to see what's on the page 237 in the Red Book. And this is the big book, not the little one. You can buy a little one, more easy to handle. But this is the big book, page 237, as in room 237. And you have a heading there, and the name of the heading is Descent into Hell in the Future. Next slide. And under this heading, Descent into Hell in the Future, it says, Carl Gustav Jung writes, 1,000 serpents crowd around, wailing the sun. Deep night falls, a red stream of blood, thick red blood springs up, surging for a long time, then ebbing. I am seized by fear. What did I see?
Wow.
And a footnote. I was in great confusion as to the meaning of all those things I had seen. The beetle, of course, I knew to be an ancient sun symbol and a setting sun. A dark sun. And this is a footnote, and I didn't take all the text under the Descent into Hell heading, therefore, if just a part of it. But this is from the same heading, Descent into Hell in the Future. He made a footnote about it. He's talking about the sun, the dark sun, the beetle, the Egyptian sun symbol. He's talking about red blood, streams of blood, the descent into hell. Next slide. So we have this room 237. And of course, if you take 2 plus 3 plus 7, you get 12. But if you take 2 times 3 times 7, you get number 42. And it's a sun number. But it is the moon room. And I think I proved it beyond any doubt in my decoding. But the moon and the sun is connected here. And this is the Red Book by Carl Gustav Jung, 2009, page 237. And you can buy that book. It's quite expensive because it's a huge book.
I have
But
a
it's
copy.
it's a wonderful book. But maybe $200 today. I don't know.
It was 100 when I bought it in 2009. So.
Yeah, me too.
Inflation.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a very interesting book. Next slide. So we have this heading, Descent into Hell in the Future. And we have this a red stream of blood in the movie The Shining, of course. And you have this face on Danny who sees this stream of blood. A red stream of blood, what did I see? Room 237. And Danny have a shirt on him, says number 42. The number 42 is on his shirt. So it's a Stanley Kubrick knew things.
Of course, yes.
And I'm going to prove it. Next slide. So I have this Phagirion, and Phagirion in the Greek mythology is the name of Phagirion in Greek mythology is Tartarus. It's the same thing. And the number is 666. And this is behind the sun, the dark sun. And it probably leads to Sirius, our twin sun. Therefore, Helios, our sun, is a stargate leading to Sirius. And then we can talk about the Bible and the New Testament and what it's all about, because Jesus was crucified at age 33, and he has a sun behind his head, and he had to descend and defeat Satan and all of that. Next slide. So in the movie The Shining, you have this gold room or the sun room, because it is what it is, the sun room, or more correct, it is Phagirion 666. And you see all these people, the dead people, the ghosts, because they have ended up in Tartarus. And this ghost or people are in hell. Next slide. And you have Jack in this Baphomet position in the end of the movie. You will see him in the picture there. And the initiatory process of Phagirion is also represented by Shiva, the image of the conjoined forces of Lilith and Samael, signifying the daimon of the shadow self of the initiate, or they may appear as one being manifested as Baphomet. And of course, Jack confronts Lilith in the moon room or room 237. The problem with Jack is he cannot overcome these forces. As I said before, when you do this journey, don't become a prey for the forces. You should overcome them, work through them, or transform yourself through them. If you cannot defeat the devil, then you become the devil yourself. And of course, this is what the movie The Shining is all about, because Danny overcome the devil and transform himself to a new state with this method. Now, he doesn't use the method, but that's the symbolic meaning of the movie. And you have something we call ambrosia, nectar of the gods. And that's, of course, is energy, solar energy, your DNA or your lux corporalis, because there are forces feeding on your energy. And there are forces waiting for you to feed on your energy. And children are, of course, very vulnerable for this. And you can call it ambrosia, nectar of the gods, if you want to. Next slide. And a quote from a Neoplatonist, I don't remember who it was, but I can check it out. The busy bees are the souls drawn towards incarnation by the desire for honey delicious, the pull of material satisfactions.
Wow.
And you can see a beehive is a six-sided hexagon, really. And the bees are connected to nectar or honey. And it's because this elite, so-called elite, I don't want to call them that, but they have lost their spark. Therefore, they cannot ascend. Therefore, their playground becomes the material world because they can't escape it themselves. And it's a little bit beautiful symbolism in Matrix. Smith says, I want to get out of here. I need to get out of here. I need a key. I need an N key. It sounds a little, it says N key. It's very interesting. And he says he's stuck there and hates it. He wants to get out of there, but he can't. He found a way, maybe, but this elite have lost the spark. You have your spark. Prometheus and Lucifer gave you this spark. You can transcend this. You don't have to be in this matrix. But if they can't, and if their game is to keep you here in order to play the power games, they will try to keep you here. And they want to feed on you. They will feed on you. Yeah, next slide. And of course you can see this in the famous floor ground in The Shining. Maybe the most iconic thing from the movie, really. This floor with the hexagon. And there is no coincidence that Stanley Kubrick chose this floor. Everything is done for a purpose. And Danny is sitting and kneeling on this hexagon and playing. But it wakes him up as well. It wakes him up for these forces who try to take his force from him. And he stands up against them to try to fight them. And he succeeds, but Jackie doesn't. Maybe he had failed long before and he had reincarnated back. He's stuck there. You have always been here. You have always been the caretaker. Next slide. So, a statement from Belial. Codes of divine power were once written within this junk DNA. They have been extracted by the manipulation of the environmental stimulus. The fruit you produce, which is the fruit of the tree of life, is only enough to be harvested by the iconic emanations. Your existence is food. That is the hidden Sephira, because if mankind had access to this side of existence by default, they could not be enslaved and harvested to benefit the Archons. And that's a very powerful statement.
Yes, and agreed 100%.
Yeah. Next slide. And now I will prove to you that Stanley Kubrick knew what he was doing, beyond any shadow of a doubt. If you just bear with me here, because now we're going to talk about the demon lord ruling over Thagirion, the Black Sun. And the demon lord ruling over Thagirion is Belphegor. And I will make some statements about Belphegor, his attributes. Worshipped as a sun god by the Moabites. Thagirion, Antichrist, the Apocalypse, Beast 666. Lilith, Samael conjoined Baphomet, the Beast 666 Shiva. The dark labyrinth of the black sun, Belphegor, lord of the dead. Death images manifesting as cemeteries, burial places, bones and skulls. Originate from the Syrian Baal Peor, phallic sun god. Peor, Hebrew, means open mouth and bowels. Remember, open mouth and bowels. This is very important. In rites, he appeared as a statue with an open mouth, revealing the entrance to a tunnel. Enter the black sun through the gullet. Worshipped by orgies and rites. His depiction with phallic images, sometimes with a phallus in his mouth. Belphegor, the domain of lust and sexual depravation. And you can see Belphegor's sigil. And it is a phallus, among other things. But this is very important. And remember, Peor, meaning open mouth and bowels. Keep that in mind. Next slide. So you have the Yak, and the Yak is as a demiurge in the movie, and as Samael. And Samael is pointed out in the Christian, among the Christian Gnostic as the demiurge. I don't really agree with it. It is true on some level, but Samael is also a trickster. Mm-hmm. For example, in the movie The Shining, Danny wakes up because of Samael, because he had to overcome him. But we have more demiurges. I think Enlil is one of them, as I mentioned before, and we have also Zeus. But in the movie, Stanley Kubrick points out Samael. But remember that it's because of Samael Yak, Danny is awakened. We need this struggle. We need this. We need something to struggle against in order to transform, progress. Once again, I want to remind you of Belphegor here. Lily Samael equals Baphomet, the B666 Shiva. And you had this picture in the end where Yak stands as Baphomet. And he has confronted Lilith in the moon room, and they together equals Baphomet. That's the reason why this mysterious picture in the end, it ain't that mysterious any longer, but before it was a mysterious thing, I think. The dark labyrinth of the black sun, Belphegor, lord of the dead. And you have this dark labyrinth in the movie The Shining. And you have death images manifesting as cemeteries, burial places, bones and skulls. And you have this Indian burial ground within this labyrinth. And you have bones and skulls in the extra scenes. I don't know if they are in every version, but in some version you have this elite sitting and there are skulls and skeletons all over the place. I think it is the lady who confronts them. I don't remember. But I think you get the point. What Stanley Kubrick is talking about. He's talking about Thagirion. He's talking about the Black Sun. And he's talking about the gold room or the sun room. And this elite are stuck there. Yak has always been the caretaker. And what Stanley Kubrick says is like Yak is drawn back there because that's his like prison over and over again. He's stuck there. He's the caretaker of Thagirion. Next slide. And you have this scene with
oh boy.
a man and an evil-looking bear with a man inside.
Yeah.
And I want to remind you one more time that Baal Peor is a phallic sun god. Peor means open mouth and bowels. Worship by orgies and rites. His depiction with phallic images, sometimes with a phallus in his mouth. Belphegor, the domain of lust and sexual depravation. Pretty straightforward, I think. Next slide. And then we have the movie Eyes Wide Shut, of course, where Tom Cruise's character walks into an orgy. And you have this esoteric elite group having this orgies, and he's not welcome there. One more reference to Phagirion and an esoteric organization who practice sexual magic. And of course, sexual magic in the wrong way to do it. It's not really. There is a much more healthy view on sexual magic than this. Next slide. And this is very, very important now, because Stanley Kubrick was supposed to do this movie AI, but Steven Spielberg took over after his death. How convenient, because Stanley Kubrick had made the graphic for this movie. And you will see image full of open mouth, tunnels going into the mouth, sexual images, all in combination with technology. And there's a reason for it. And I think this movie would show more clearly what Stanley Kubrick wanted to get at with this earlier movie. It was like the last movie in a series of esoteric theme. That is what I believe. I cannot prove that. But it would be very, very interesting to see the movie as Stanley Kubrick visioned it. It would be a totally different movie than Steven Spielberg's version of it. Next slide.
Yeah, interesting. It also reminds me of the imagery in that ill-fated festival, the Astroworld Festival last year, where the stampedes and the mass deaths and people say it was, and if you look, it was the stage was a giant mouth swallowing people. So like this.
Yeah. Here you have Stanley Kubrick again in his images of AI, or his visions of it, and you can see it very clearly here what he is getting at. It is open mouth, tunnels going into it. It is technology, of course. The movie is about technology and artificial intelligence. And a boy who will never get old. Who wants a boy who will never get old? You can ask yourself that. It's very strange. He's talking about Phagirion, of course. He's talking about 666 here, the Black Sun. And the Black Sun, Phagirion, Belphegor is about sexual images, open mouth. I think you get what Stanley Kubrick tried to tell you here.
No doubt, yes.
And it is connected with technology. And this is very important in this movie, because before, except Space Odyssey 2001, he's returning to this technology in combination with esoteric method and tradition. Then people are a little bit confused. Why combine esoteric matters or esoteric methods with and theory with technology? Right. What is the connection? Next slide.
All right. Hey, Vince, can you take over the slide? The cats have given me an hour of peace, but I got to leave.
Okay.
You're the demiurge. You're Belphegor of the...
I got it. Whatever.
Just say okay. Yeah, you have a very interesting movie, and it's a great movie from 1999, and of course it's the Matrix movie. And you follow this character Neo, and he's waking up after he swallowed the pill, and of course he's waking up in Thagirion or Tartaros 666, and he sees a lot of bodies laying around, and they are drained of their energy because they are passive, in a passive state. And later on he's learned they are batteries for the machines who are using them for the solar source energy. And this is a great scene, and haven't you seen the movie? You have to see it. And there are a lot of very interesting things in Matrix, and I will talk about it more later on.
Oh, yeah.
But for example, Neo gets shot in the room 303. And 0, you take out the 0, you get 33. Of course, he gets shot in the number 33 series. And get resurrected because he overcome these forces and become this Neo, the one. Next slide. And now we come, of course, to a dark subject, and that's CERN. And you see the solar square, and you see every side becomes 1, 1, 1. And if you add the sides together, you get 666. And 666 is the black sun of Thagirion. And in CERN's logo, you have 36666. Some think it's 9, but I know it's 666. And there you have the connection with technology, the black sun. And you should watch the ceremony, the opening ceremony, the 1-hour version of it. It's a long esoteric, like symbol fest, ritual, if you want to. I'm going to show you one of these scenes, because one of these scenes are very telling. In combination with this, what we're talking about now.
And they have Shiva outside the building, don't they? A statue of Shiva.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hans. The next slide. And you have the Shiva statue outside. Because when we are talking about Thagirion 666, I will remind you about this connection I mentioned in The Shining, where the Antichrist, the Apocalypse beast 666, and Shiva is in the Baphomet image and in the movie The Shining. And Belphegor offers the heresy of the creation of golems and servitors. I take that one more time because this is very important. Belphegor offers the heresy of the creation of golems and servitors. And I'm going to explain it more. But you can see this Thagirion 666, the black sun. You can see it in the movie Matrix, where Neo wakes up, discover they are food for the machines. And you can see this CERN logo 666. And you can see the Shiva statue outside. And this is very telling if you're if you know esoteric subjects. Next slide. In the opening ceremony, when they open this tunnel, the first scene is a bunch of people walking as zombies for like 2 or 3 minutes. They are like dead zombies. This is the opening ceremony of a very big, this is like 1 hour long esoteric ceremony. In the movie Metropolis, a very the theme is about technology, androids or machines in combination with humans. There's an esoteric theme there as well. And the opening scene in CERN is mirrored in Metropolis, or the opposite around. They mirror the scene from Metropolis in the CERN ceremony. And I want to remind you one more time now about Belphegor. Belphegor offers the heresy of the creation of golems and servitors. And the logo in CERN is 666. And CERN gave us internet. Do you think they gave us internet because they were kind? Or
No.
do they have a plan here?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Next slide. A quote from Belial. Mankind may step back into the original divine blueprint that will empower them to rule over their own life experience, though the yoke of this work is anything but easy. We have work to do, but you can do it. We can do it. One more quote. You shall be illuminated by the black light of the knowledge of good and evil, gold and silver, or the X and Y chromosomes, as more codes from the book of life are written upon your genes. You will gain sovereignty over the powers of heaven and hell. Yeah, next slide. So this is what I want to tell you. It's a war over your DNA. There are forces who want to take away the spark from you. It is very important for them to do so. And I will talk about it more in the next part. I cannot have it in here. But remember this, because I'm going to talk about it more in the next part. You are much more than you think. And the best weapon they have against you is to convince you that you are an animal or that you are a sinner. When you start to work with these forces, to transform yourself, remember that there are ordeals to overcome. This path is quite hard. And don't fall off from your path. When you start to walk, remember why you do it. And keep on walking. Never go astray. Never start to think that you are better than others. Never start to think that you can use this to manipulate others. Then if you do, you can fall very fast, like Jack. And if you lose your spark, you will become like them. You will start to play games, because that's the only reason there is for you to live. You have nothing. And many people are saying like they want to punish them because what they are doing. And they are talking about karma. But this karma thing, they don't believe in this karma thing. They are Western esoteric people. We don't believe in karma. But you're really putting yourself down when you say stuff like that. You have the spark. You have an opportunity to transform, to become something. They have nothing. They are just a road bump. They have lost everything. They have nothing more to lose. You think they are happy or they like to play this game. No, they are playing this game because that's the only thing they know. And they are tormented and punished when they are children. They are these horrible things done to them. Don't talk about punish them. Transform yourself. Become what you are here to become. And then they will go away. They will not have any power over you. That's the reason why they are desperate to take this spark away. And they know that we are in an apocalyptic situation here. The time is running out for them. And your job here is to keep your spark. If you keep your spark, they cannot win over you. And it will come a time when they will do a mistake. And I'm going to talk about it in part 4. But it's a very interesting. And that's one thing Lucifer Prometheus had told me. Keep your spark. Be happy. They hate happy people. They like suffering. They feed on your suffering. They feed on your energy. If you hate them, if you want to punish them, if you want them to have bad karma and that they have to show everything they do to you in order to avoid karma, you're on the wrong path. No, they are a road block for you to go over, and to be some other people's stumbling block ain't a good thing. It's a horrible thing to be at during this glorious age of humanity when you have the spark and you can become something.
Well said.
That's a horrible place to be in for them.
Well, no wonder they created the internet, because it's all a bunch of miserable people getting depressed. Perfect place for them to feed.
TikTok.
Yeah, mental talk.
And you can clearly see they use the internet. They gave us internet for their own benefit, but they haven't really understood what we can do with it, because they look down on us.
We can create memes that make us laugh. That we find.
And we can meet all over the world and talk and discuss things, share information. And humanity are waking up, even though we all have friends and family who are totally ignorant. And they want to digitalize your DNA. If you haven't done this, don't do it. Right? Because it's about your DNA. Yeah, next part is about Abaddon Apollyon. And Abaddon Apollyon is a sun god. And of course, Sun is built over old temples of Abaddon and Apollyon. Of course, there is no coincidence.
Never.
And the part is called Genes, Monsters and Men. Next slide. I want to end this presentation with another interesting fact. And it's about book 66, Revelation in the Bible. And in Revelation 9:11, very interesting number in King James Version, and it says, "And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon." And in this revelation, I want to point out that it is book 66 in the Bible, and 66 is a reference to the Qliphothic tree. And if you add 1 plus 2 plus 3 all the way up to 11, you got the number 66. So the number 11 is also 66. And if you add up 1 to 9, you got the number 45. And 45 plus 66 is 111. And that's the number of our sun, Helios. And in this book Revelation, book 6 Revelation, you have the number 42 and the number 666 as well. And this is maybe the most famous book amongst the conspiracy theories.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they're talking about it a lot, but they don't really understand what it's all about. But I will try to explain it in the next part. And also remember, I will try to talk about things I've talked about here, but I want to make it more clearer or more deeper into the esoteric knowledge. This is an important part before you watch the last part. When we do, it's very good to have this in mind. I will come back to this part and the first two parts, of course. But
of course.
All right, this is all I got for today. I hope you enjoyed it.
That was great. Yeah. It's getting just more and more intense, like a movie hitting a crescendo. So yeah, great work. Very impressive. And damn you, Belphegor. I'm gonna first time I heard of this demon, but now I'm gonna check him out. No, this has been incredible. I guess, Vance, do you have a question or from the audience?
We got some. Chester, who was good enough to grace us with a super chat, asks, can you say now which planet is connected to Sirius? I've heard it as Venus. Mark Pinkham suggested that. Go ahead.
Yeah, Venus is an important part of that Stargate. And I think it is Venus and Jupiter, Venus, our sun, and Sirius. There is some connection between these planets. And Venus has to be in a certain alignment with our sun or another planet in order to open up this Stargate when it is working. And I think this Stargate is working. I think it is open through technology, but remember, you can access this Stargate from within. But remember that this elite have lost the spark. They need technology in order to do what you can do with your body. You can access these gates. But they can make it harder for you. And if they convince you that you cannot do it because you're an animal, then you will never start or try. Or search for a method how to do it.
They think they can get a spark back from us? Are they looking for the spark?
I don't think so. It seems like their game is to have a conscious reincarnation back here in order to be able to play this game over and over and to remember where they finished the last time in order to continue their game within their own bloodline, family bloodline. Because it seems to be easier to reincarnate back within your own bloodline. Therefore, you have this intermarriage thing amongst the elite. And then, if you know this going on, then surely you will help the children to remember, to take over, and to continue with their game. Therefore, they manipulate the stars, but through technology, in order to come back consciously. Because that's the only game they can play. You can ascend this matrix. You can go out from it, though.
Sounds good. Let's see who else we got here. Let's see. We Esoteric Teachings wanted to know if he could email you for deeper insights into how to perform Black Sun rituals. I guess we'll cover that at the end, right, Miguel? Contact information for David.
Yeah, unless David wants to share an email here or whatever works for David.
Yeah, you can put up my mail or information. Yes, be careful though. Maybe not good to start with the black sun straight away, but yeah, we can
Jump
take
right
it.
in there.
Yeah, I'll put his email in the show notes here on YouTube, and you guys can reach out to him. Or if any issue, just reach out to me too through the webpage, and I'll hook you up.
Yeah, I was wondering, black sun, same as black holes in the universe that we can see?
I think there is a connection between this, yes. And you have also a black sun within you and a black sun outside of you, as within, so without, and so on.
Right.
And it's because you can reach this stargates from within. You don't need technology to do it. So it's very strange, but it seems like what's inside you we manifest in physical form as well. It's very strange, but all these forces exist within you. All these planets, all these suns exist within you. When you work with these forces, this planet, you also transform from within.
No, I
If
have
you
the
work
urge to go listen to Soundgarden's Black Hole Sun.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, there are many artists talking about the black sun.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they write the song themselves or if they like have someone do it for them.
Hard to say, huh?
Question.
Hard to say. And I mean, if you're a heavy metal artist, they used to write their own stuff. But if you're like an idol or pop song singer, they used to get their stuff delivered to them. And
Oh yeah,
shouting.
the old legend that there's like only 2 or 3 songwriters in the world now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not into pop. I always listen to metal. I was lucky enough to have a brother listen to Dio.
Well, that's
Maiden,
I don't know if you ever seen the movie Under the Silver Lake, and that's the movie has many conspiracies, but that's one. There's this demiurge, ancient demon who's written every pop song, every opera, and it's all every song is created to keep us asleep. Yeah, sorry. Thanks, Nate. Under the Silver Lake. Andrew Garfield is in it. Yeah.
There is a truth to the music thing, because the Watchers have said that the music is aimed at us to keep us asleep, or they changed the scale or something. I'm not good at music, but there is something wrong with it. But
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Except Elvis, I'm taking Elvis off. I mean, what manipulation could you get from burning love? Deep philosophical mind control. Yes, no.
I agree with you, Miguel. I agree with you, because you can. I mean, it's huge difference with a beautiful song. At least it's some good message. Or a lot of heavy metal music is about rebel, but the pop music is like singing shit on stage, and I don't.
Well, in the 50s it was reproduction music, and then the 60s it was take drugs music, and 70s I don't know what it was in the 70s. I lost track after that.
What about if you like pina coladas and getting caught in the black sun? Took that part out before it was released.
Hey, all the traditional country western music is the black sun music, right? Oh, I lost my baby. Oh,
I'm broke. I'm addicted to alcohol.
Yeah, bottle in front of me, frontal lobotomy, all that stuff. Hey, Occult fan want to know if you were aware of Dr. Joseph Farrell's book, Genes, Giants, Monsters, and Men.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I read it a couple of times, and the title stuck to me, and I think he have a lot of things to say, and it's interesting. I don't agree with him on everything, but yes, the last title is a little bit contribution to him, and it is a perfect title for what we are going talking about.
Yeah, Yeah, they noticed the connection. But there's nothing new under the black hole sun.
Exactly.
Yeah, we won't get arrested for heresy. We'll get arrested for bad jokes by the
Yeah.
men in black. if we
We're
do.
guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. Dissident Jones, who made us a nice super chat, wanted to know, aside from meditation, what practices you recommend to continue spiritual enlightenment and gnosis?
Right. If you start right away, if you at a beginner level, I think meditation, yoga, the 22 cards in the Major Arcana, Tarot is a good way to start. And also mandalas and sigils, just to draw them, awakens things in your brain. I don't know why. It's like rewiring us to prepare us for the metaphysical. And things start to happen, but don't be afraid. Lamps start to blink, and my lamp is going rampage all the time since I think 4 years. It's very strange, and forces are going to show themselves to you like black spiders, men in shadow men with hats like an undertaker. Yes, very strange stuff, but I think they are there to feed on you. Really, the black spider seems to, I don't know, strange. But
yeah, I guess we're cattle in the end, right? We're being ranched.
yeah, right now I think we are, but I think we will change that soon.
Yeah, we'll escape the corral, right?
Yeah, but don't be afraid, because you're not alone. There are things that will happen to you when you start to work on this. The next step I think you should take is the left-hand path, and that is a little bit like the esoteric UFC slugger fest, but you get results, and you will feel the force, and you will understand that you are a spirit being very fast. But don't push your way through. Be very have a method in mind, and don't force your way. When you are have a heavy time and have to relax, just take a step back and a couple of weeks before you continue on your journey.
Very good. Occult fan also wanted to know what you thought about the Mandela effect.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I haven't studied it, but I think it's a real phenomenon. And I'm sad to say, but this technology, the elite have technology, we cannot we understand it now, but they have had this technology for a very long time, and I think that's the reason why they can put together this very elaborate plans. Maybe they have had artificial intelligence for a very long time, and maybe they have had technology that can teleport into time and space. Sorry to say that, and it's very hard for me to admit it, but that's what the watchers are saying. And then maybe they can make glitches into the matrix when they do this technology stuff. It wouldn't surprise me any longer. If you asked me for 1 year ago, I was a no. This is ridiculous. But now I have to say, yes, there is something to it. But before I was like, this is new age shit. I'm a conspiracy madman. But no, I have to say there is something to it, and be very careful. They have very powerful technology, and you will overcome them by using your spark and ignite it. And if you're not prepared, if you are into the dark or oblivious to what's happening, and if you don't keep your spark and work on it, then maybe you will, sad to say, not make it. And I think it will be a shift in humanity. One part of humanity will pull through, but many will sad to say, perish. And we are in an apocalyptic situation again. And it is like in the Atlantic time. And that's the reason why I started off with Atlantis, because we have gone full circle. The war is here again. And I think we will pull through this time.
I think Atlantis had their own version of CERN, and that's what sunk them.
Yeah, I think so too. Really, I think they had CERN technology, kind of.
Yeah, my information says that they were actually able to manipulate matter. CERN right now is just doing collisions and trying to discover, the physical laws. But I think the Atlanteans probably were able to actually manipulate matter. Like in Forbidden Planet, the movie Forbidden Planet, how Morbius could put on the machine, and the Krell could do that, and of course. It destroyed them overnight. I think Atlantis is probably in The Tempest by Shakespeare, right? The use of magic and it destroyed it, which brings you to the black hole.
Yeah,
the black
I
sun.
think you're right. And when we come to CERN, they haven't told you the truth about it. They can do more stuff, and I will talk about it the next time in part 4.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear that.
And
hey, Miguel, should I ask a question about Tool? The Tool and the 20-second goetic seal? You see it?
Oh God, we haven't. Oh well, we haven't had to deal with Tool for a few months, so yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Let her rip.
We've had a Tool hiatus.
Let's just pull Nate up and have David deal with it.
There you go.
Can you see it?
Very interesting. I didn't know about that, but it is very interesting, because 22 again, and you have 22 strands of DNA, 22 Hebrew letters, and so on. I will check it out for sure, and it's very interesting. And
for anybody else, does David have any thoughts on Tool having the 20-second goetic seal from the demon Epos or Ipos on the vinyl version of Enema? So any other Tool fans or scholars out there, let us know.
Yeah, when we come to Goetia, if I can finish with a personal story, it's a very, very interesting story. One of the demons in Goetia can duplicate things, copy things. And I had 2 books. One was about Ishtar, and one about Goetia. And I have bought one book. And I put the book on the side, on the table. And I put the Ishtar book over that book of Goetia. And I read about this demon who could copy things. I don't remember the name of it now. It's like a lesser demon. And I talked in the phone with my girlfriend. And I was like, where did I put the book? About the Goetia book. And I started to look at the table, and I saw it in the corner there. But didn't I put it there under the book, and took away the book, and I saw 2 books.
Wow.
I had two books. And I felt the glitch in the matrix in my brain. It was like, boom.
Wow.
Very, very fast. And I was like, I talked to my girlfriend, I was like, something very strange happened now. And it was an expensive book. I knew I hadn't bought 2 books because I had it for 3 months, and I always put them very neat in my bookshelf. Therefore, you can do things. I want to inspire you. You can do things you cannot even imagine when you start to ignite. And one more thing, I am not a huge fan of the alien paradigm as it is today. Mm-hmm. Because once again, they are talking about things coming and save you. You should wait for these aliens, and they have physical forms, and they are everywhere. And they are like, they will come here. It make people passive one more time in a different form. No, you don't need anyone to come to save you. You need to save yourself. When you have ignited the spark, when you realize how powerful you are, we don't need anyone to save us from the demiurge and the archons. We will do it ourselves, and that's the purpose here. Just as Danny overcame Jack and become something new, transformed and become number 42, becomes the sun. He keeps his spark. He has overcome these forces. And,
well said. Well said.
Well, we have another super chat question from True Nemesis Prime. David, what do you think of the Urantia book or the Voyager books by Ashayana Diane? She talks about CERN in the halls of Amenti, Stargate portals in those.
Yeah, I have a book, a Urantia book. I haven't read that much of it, but I will try to read it more. I think there are good stuff in there, and but I cannot comment on it. I haven't in mind.
Yeah, CERN's a pretty hot topic. Who knows? Yep. Maybe the Mandela effect is caused by every time they make a super collision in current in CERN. It duplicates the universe.
Yeah,
changes the Berenstain to Berenstein right there.
Yeah.
God forbid they solve world hunger or something, or grow more food, but they got to mess with coloring books.
Schrodinger's universe, right?
Yeah.
Is Elvis dead or alive? He's a superimposition.
He was very much into the Urantia book and Chariots of the God. He reread them over and over. Yeah, he was obsessed with those two books.
When did he get time?
Yeah, well, if there's only so many TVs you can shoot at your hotel. Oh man, I can't watch TV tonight. Guess I'll read a book.
Yeah, room service stops bringing him up, after a while.
He was kind of a polymath. Also, people don't know, when he traveled, like concert or to do movies, he had a group of servants that carried 200 books with him wherever he went. Because he was like one of those voracious speed readers. And,
Wow.
That ain't bad.
He was an alien.
Yeah, well, that's in my book. There is proof that he thought he was from some moon in Jupiter or something. Yeah,
I'm starting to believe it.
Did you get to this question?
Yeah.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay. Because I thought you said this is the last one, but just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, David. Any thoughts on the secret space programs such as Solar Warden or Radiant Guardian? I have never heard of those.
Yes. There are interesting secret space programs for sure, and we have reached the moon, and I recommend the YouTube channel called Bruce Sees All, where he is filming the moon with a telescope and a camera attached to it, and he has proven that there are things on the moon, and I think it is humans. And I think also we have been or are right now on Mars, and maybe on some of the moons. And I am sure the secret space program exists. And NASA is not who you think they are. They are horrible people, not interested in to share anything with you. They would never reveal anything of importance. And the reason why JFK had to die, I think, was not about the Federal Reserve, but about technology. And he threatened them and challenged them by going to the moon because he knew they had technology that could take them or us there. And then he had to go because he should know if they use this stupid technology, he wouldn't fall for it. He would question it right away. It was on to them. But Nixon was like, yeah. I got the power. I got to become the president. Whatever. Bye. It could be in a telephone booth. He would play along, but JFK wouldn't buy it. He wouldn't play along. It was on to them already. He had to go. because it was on to the secret space program.
Wow.
That is what I think.
Well, Ben Rich of Lockheed Skunkworks said we had the technology to go to visit ET, he said.
Interesting. I think somebody said about the Urantia book, about the Voyagers.
Voyagers.
I missed that. What does he mean by the Voyagers? The Star Trek
another
book?
book. No, there's another
it's a
book by the same author. Yeah, by the same author as the Urantia book.
Okay. I haven't read that at all. I don't have it really. Interesting. Thank you. I have the Urantia book, but I haven't read that much. A couple of pages, but you have to keep on reading if you're going to remember it. And some books I have read 10 times or something.
Yeah, and then you read a book like that really moved you and changed your life 10 years ago, but you start forgetting the facts.
Yeah.
You remember the book changed my life, but you can't see the memories, the details start to fade away. Unfortunately.
Exactly. And when it comes to esoteric books, you should read them more. And when you read them again 5 years later, you will understand much more in them. And you should go back to them again. That's how I do it. I read. And use method, and and all of this channeling I talk about, it's not only I who've done it, but there are people I know or consider my teachers. I can go in and I know they are talking, they know what they are talking about. Right. I have for the most part communicated with Lucifer, Prometheus, because it takes time. All these watchers have their own personalities, and it takes you have to work with them. It's like a friendship. You cannot just jump around, but together we can piece this picture together.
Right. Yeah, very well said. Awesome. Well, unless that's it for the audience and you, Vance, shall we wrap it up?
I think so.
Awesome. Well, it's been an amazing conversation. It keeps getting better and better. I think the fourth one, well, besides our bad jokes, I'm sure after the fourth presentation, the Men in Black will come and arrest us because there's so much revelation. But what are you going to do? It's been great.
I think it's important this subject come out. And I know more about this agenda, this pandemic, than most people. Maybe, I don't know, but I think I one of few people who have the full picture of it, and I will be very careful how I talk about it. I promise you, Miguel. And
this we might have to do like a live show on Rockfin or Odyssey, one of those video places where there's no censorship. So.
Far from the black hole sun.
Yeah. Or do what you're doing. Just hide. Yeah, just what you're doing. Hide it with, mask it with symbol, in other words.
Exactly.
Easy.
Yeah. We will make it.
Yeah. It'll be great. As always.
The most important is the third part, and that to inspire you to transform. Don't get caught up in the conspiracy. But I want to inspire you because they are afraid of you. There's a reason why they do what they are doing, because they are afraid of you. They know you are waking up.
Yeah, I would definitely agree, and well said. Awesome. Well, again, this will be on YouTube. Obviously YouTube and other places. It'll go on Odyssey, Rockfin. Audio version should be out in all major podcast platforms. Really appreciate the audience company, the great questions, intelligent remarks, and always really appreciate your support. Vance, thanks for taking care of things.
Oh, it's always my pleasure to hang out with the guys in the chat and the gals in the chat and all that stuff. No black hole suns in there today. I'm stuck in the black hole sun now. I got to go listen to that song.
I'm going to do that after this. Well,
thank you a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
And wonderful.
Yeah, thanks.
And your audience, thank you. Very good questions. And we will piece this together piece this puzzle together, and
Yeah,
you
we
have
look
the full
forward
picture.
to number 4 in the next few weeks or next month, and it's going to be great, great series. I'm already thinking calling it Portal Gods, because at the end of the day, yeah, about protecting yourself, but it really is a battle over portals, isn't it, David?
Yeah, portals and DNA.
Yeah, portals and
and
DNA.
because your DNA also connected to the portals.
Exactly.
There is a connection there, because you can go there from within when you have ignited your DNA. When you have done if you do what you're supposed to do, then you don't need technology to go there.
Just hit
me.
True Picard had Star Trek Picard had DNA and portals and the right.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Yeah, it's fascinating. Great. Yeah, season 3 was just amazing. They got Star Trek got its magic back and its conspiracy back, right?
Big time
conspiracy theory back. Yeah. True Nemesis Prime. In a little while, I'll put it on the show notes on YouTube. I don't want to do it on audio here, so check the show notes in a little bit here on YouTube, or when I have the audio version at the website, we'll get it to you. All right. Well, other than that, it's been a great conversation. Everybody, please have a great weekend. Keep waking up, keep going inward, and keep writing your own gospel and living your own myth. We got them where we want them. They're losing. Take care, everybody.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.